Welcome to Rick's Corner. I have a guest today, Hollis Liebman, who I've met just recently, and I was very impressed with his resume and his background in training, nutrition, fitness, you name it. This guy, we stopped and talked at Starbucks, and he says, "You're Rick, right?" And I said, "Well, I used to be, but I am the older Rick now, so you can call me Old Rick or Older Rick." But we had a nice conversation having coffee, and it's really my pleasure to have you here. I know that you were wanted to do this, but you weren't quite sure, right?
Yes.
And I saw no reason. You have a lot to offer, so I thought it'd be the best thing to do.
Thank you, Rick. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and a fellow bald guy.
A fellow bald Jew.
A fellow bald Jew,
yes.
Exactly. All right, so let's start a little bit about your history, because I always like to start in the beginning. When you started training, how old were you?
I was 13 years old. I'm 39 now, so I started at 13.
What inspired you to do this?
Like many kids, I was bullied. And I never picked up the weights to get back at the bully or vengeance or anything like that. I just wanted to develop a little self-confidence.
Yeah.
And I saw a friend one day in a tank top, and I didn't know that he was built. And I thought, you could change your body like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized at a young age that this is one of the few things we have control over.
Right.
Fell in love for life.
I can understand. I was bullied as a young kid, but not by other guys. I was bullied by my female babysitters and molested at a young age. And no, I'm kidding. I only wish. But I hear this a lot, because the bullying thing right now has gotten out of hand. They need to put a handle on it real quick. But seeing, and I'm kind of like you in a way. I had a girlfriend in high school, and she had two cousins I went to school with, and they were football players, and I wasn't. I was a guitarist in a band, and I looked at some of the bodies, and I looked at Joe Weider's Muscle and Fitness magazine before it was Muscle and Fitness.
Muscle Builder.
Muscle Builder.
Yeah.
It had Yvonne Pierre Brunet from Canada, and I'm looking at these bodies. How in the world these guys pack this kind of muscle on?
Yeah.
And then the article where Joe Weider says, "Oh, they packed on 10 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks." Well, I said 10 pounds of meat. I said that would take hamburger, and I'll just smack it on the biceps and they'll grow, right? It makes you believe you can do this. But I'm like you. I saw this and I got bit by the bug, and when everybody was out partying and having a good time, I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
You know how that goes?
Yeah, I've been on so many dates where I'm making out or whatever's going on, and one time in particular we're doing whatever we're doing, and my alarm goes off on my watch, and she's like, "What's that?" And I reach under the seat and I pull out my chicken breast. I'm like, "It's meal 5, I gotta eat."
You gotta pull out her breast.
I did, but then I put hers away,
Yes,
and I
of course.
pulled out meal 5.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense to me. Did you train like every day? Did you know then how to split up your body, or did you just play it by ear?
I had a voracious appetite and still do for knowledge, and I always I started going to bodybuilding shows at a young age, and I would read Flex and Muscle and Fitness and anything I get my hands on. Like most people, I would overtrain. I thought once is good, twice a week at chest is great. I'll do it 3 times. So what happened? I got smaller and overtrained. So you learn over time.
But the theory was back before you, when I was a kid, Steve Reeves and those guys did train 3 times a week. They just didn't do as many sets.
Yes, and I think to say that one thing works for everybody is not true, because everybody responds different. Arnold would train, as you know,
twice a week.
You know, whereas Dorian Yates would train everything once a week, and both 6 and 7-time Mr. Olympia. So
yeah, it's a different body style. You know, they just respond differently. I tried this once a week thing; it didn't work for me. I just felt like I was losing everything. But maybe I wasn't in my head.
Yeah,
I was. Do you take rest days?
Yeah, I would. I ultimately came up with a lot of similarities to Yates, Dorian Yates, the 4-day split. So I would train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, and weekends off. Basically, with the knowledge, or to try to go in and better what I did last week. If I got 100 pounds on 6 for the bench press, my mission was 7 the following week.
Okay.
To always improve.
Did you feel it was necessary to train heavy?
Yes, because I always did what I call power bodybuilding, and I always wanted to compete. And I disliked when guys would go on stage and they look good from the front and the rear, and they turn to the side, and what happens?
They're lost.
They disappear.
Yeah.
So I trained for that thick look from the side. And that's where I beat a lot of guys.
Yeah. I think that when I was doing that, I got a lot of that from powerlifting, just doing squats, deadlifts, and bench press, because I trained heavy for that. But as you get older, and you'll find too, maybe not yet, your joints begin to go, and you just can't do it anymore. I mean, when I was doing dumbbell presses today, these things sound like ratchet wrenches going off.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. It's very. I was thinking this morning, at my age, I'm thinking out there, damn, I can't get back to where I was. I better be happy where I am, but it hurts. It's sore. But you still don't miss the workout.
I think it becomes kind of an analogy that I've told people is as you get older, it's like you go bonds and then stocks, and as you get older, you go less stocks and more bonds. And I think with the body, it becomes less about aesthetics and more about, I just want to be able to basically function and move around.
Yeah, exactly. And even at that, it's hard because there is damage to the joints and to the arthritis you get as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, the weather was changing and it got cloudy, and my weather friend says, "Oh, I got a call from a lady. It's going to rain. Her knee hurts." Well, you know what? It does.
Yeah. So I've
outside
heard.
pressure and inside pressure of the body, they all kind of play a part on each other. How was your diet when you started? Did you understand about doing chicken breasts and all this kind of stuff?
I always knew that you'd have to lift big and eat big to get big.
Yeah.
I learned that from Lavroni, and all the other pros that I just learned and read about. But my original diet was basically 3 pounds of steak a day, bagels. I don't know if that's a Jewish thing, and orange juice.
Gotta have bagels.
You gotta have bagels, especially being from New York. And what happened was I got fat. Quick, big and bulky, and then I learned about chicken breasts and leaner. But my initial diet was.
I have a picture I'm putting up of you fat and in the shape the one you sent me.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Diet is so important, and for you guys out there that are training and maybe you're new at it, you've been at it a while. It's the whole thing. The diet is the whole thing. I was telling this on one of my last shows. I did the bike today for 20 minutes. You know what? It was like 56 calories. What's that? Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
So you don't burn fat really doing that. You burn fat by dieting.
Yeah.
Low carbs. Low carbs.
I believe in high protein, moderate fat, and moderate carbs. Low carbs never worked for me because of the weights I was pushing, and still push to some degree. I need energy.
Yeah.
To me, low carbs, it just doesn't work. It
No.
does not work. No.
It worked for me. I did it for long periods of time, and then Sundays would be my junk day, and Mondays I would be fat, and Tuesday I'd be skinny again. So
But you would do it would reset you on Sunday.
it's a reset,
Right? It would kind of volumize you and
Yeah.
lubricate the joints and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So it obviously worked.
Yeah, it worked. Everybody did back then. So you trained some celebrities.
Yeah.
Such as.
I had the pleasure of working with Hugh Jackman and his wife, Deborah Lee, Chris Jericho, my friend, Jane Lynch, Mindy Kaling. I trained a little bit, Giovanni Ribisi. The thing is this, in my opinion, it's nice, and I can say that I train these people. Celebrities generally don't make good clients because they're only here for a little bit of time.
Oh man.
They're, as you know, they're always traveling. But people like to hear, who did you work with? And I did work with all these people, and Hugh was an absolute pleasure.
I would imagine he would be. I had not to compete, but I had Gene Simmons.
Oh, awesome.
I had Chuck Negron from Three Dog Night, Eric Estrada, Jeff Goldblum, to name a few, and Daniel Baldwin, Daniel Baldwin.
Oh, nice.
The thing is, like you say, you'll have them, and then they're gone 6 weeks, and you got to start all over again.
Yeah.
But they were good guys, you know. Outside of what they do in the gym, they were just normal guys. I never saw Gene Simmons on Kiss. I only knew him from the gym.
That's awesome.
And I go to some events with him and just hang out, and he'd buy my ticket or whatever. And then when I saw him perform, I said, "That's you? You do that?"
That's even better because you know him as a human being.
Exactly.
Before what they're famous for.
Exactly.
The nicest thing about Hugh too was one night I had a contest covered, the 2001 Arnold Classic, I think.
Yeah.
I brought my photos. I had gone to Columbus, came back. Hugh had an interest in bodybuilding, so we sat there after his training session, and he was flipping through my photos. I thought that was very cool, very
Very nice. Yeah.
very very cool.
He got in good shape too.
Amazing shape, very hard worker, and it comes down to some genetics, but hard work. A guy like that is 6'4", an ectomorph essentially, has to eat
Yeah.
to stay full.
He's 6'4"?
He's legitimately 6'4".
Oh, he's
Yeah.
a big guy.
Yeah, he is.
Did you see what he did at one of the WrestleManias? Did you ever hear that story?
I heard about it.
He came in and was supposed to throw a punch at somebody outside the ring.
Did he land?
He landed and
Oh.
almost knocked the guy out. And it's like, oh, man, I wasn't supposed to do that. But that happens if you don't know the business like that. You've authored several books.
At this point, 7 are out, and my 8th is coming out very soon.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah.
What are they?
These books have appeared in Costco, Barnes & Noble, basically core books. They're basically what I would call maybe impulse purchases that you see at Costco and you go, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
I was more or less a gun for hire. Great opportunity. I authored all these books, but I was basically paid, given a template of here's what we want you to write, send you on your way.
Okay.
I'm very proud of these books. Actually, the 7th one just came out. It's a big encyclopedia about all these exercises and 50 different sports to train for.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're told you can only paint in black or white and you have a whole palette, you're going to feel a little bit limited.
Yeah.
And a decision came, and I had pitched the idea for Peak Physique, and they liked it, but I never heard back.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what happened was along that time, I was in a bad, dysfunctional relationship. I gained a lot of weight. Not because of her, but simply because I thought fast food was a quick way to love, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
When love is withheld,
Sure.
a Whopper is always available.
I had a Whopper. I gave it to her.
Smart. And then basically at the demise of the relationship, I kind of looked in the mirror, and I'm a trainer as well. And I said, I look like a little sumo wrestler. Hadn't really been in shape in years. And I was the challenge. I said, I'm going to bring my vision to the masses one way or another. Whether I put it out myself or get a publisher.
Yeah. You got a publisher.
I got a publisher. I'm very thankful. I got Bloomsbury. Bloomsbury loved the book. I put it together. I paid for everything on spec. Hired a photographer, an editor. We put it together. It was my true vision. And they're the people that put out the Harry Potter books.
Okay.
So to have them behind me,
yeah,
I can't be more thankful.
And where do you find this book? In bookstores?
The book will be in Amazon. It's on Amazon right now for pre-order. It comes
It's
out
called?
Peak Physique.
Okay.
It comes out officially December 23rd of this year. And we got a book signing in the Barnes & Noble Santa Monica.
Okay.
January 10th at 2 p.m., which, you know, to me is a big boy step. It's a
That's
dream
really
come true.
something.
Yeah.
How will this book benefit the guys that are watching right now, and women?
The book is for both men and women, and to me, it's not a bodybuilding book. I'll always be a bodybuilder in my
Sure,
heart.
of course.
It's a self-building book. It's a book to get you back to your peak physique. Whether it's a wedding, a reunion, you just had a baby, you got out of a relationship. It's you getting back to you, not competing against the guy next to you, who
Right.
you have no control over anyway.
That's right. You can only compete with yourself.
Only yourself.
Yeah, you get up and look in the mirror in the morning and say, "Damn, I look good like 2 weeks ago, but today I shouldn't have eaten that ice cream or sushi." But I think this is phenomenal that you would do something like this. Tell me about these cards.
I had the pleasure of serving in the IFBB, the International Federation of Bodybuilders. So if anybody hasn't seen, these are what pro cards look like. Or rather, pro official cards. As an official, I was an athlete expediter. I got to tell you, it was surreal to be at the 2003 Mr. Olympia backstage, and to be, my job was to get the guys in line. So these are like my heroes.
Sure.
You know, and I'm like, Ronnie, let's go, get in line, and Kevin and everybody. It was very, very cool.
And then you said, "By the way, you're looking a little flat today."
Yeah.
No, here's what you do. Here's what you do. Here's what you do at the Olympia, a competitor like that. I do this, and Arnold and I used to do this people all the time. You look at him and you go, "You been to the doctor for that?
Oh,
What's wrong?"
Jesus.
I don't know. Are you been sick? You can't say that to a bodybuilder.
No, you know what was cool though is I'm basically an aficionado, a historian of the sport, and I would go to the athlete meetings and do my job there. But you could tell generally, not everybody, if the guy was in shape from his face.
Yeah.
And Flex Wheeler is one of my favorite guys of all time, and all respect to him. But the one year, the '99 Olympia, or the 2000, he was off, and he was in tracksuit and everything. His face was puffy, and I said, "There goes the year."
Yeah.
I could just tell.
Yeah.
He placed second that year, and he is exceptional. But I just wanted to point out that little things like that were very cool to be able to see.
What is your view on taking anabolics?
I think that anyone that takes anabolics has a decision to make, and I just don't like when people take it from the get-go. Get your training in order. Get your nutrition in order. What are your aspirations? Are you going to compete? I had the honor of winning the '95 T-National Heavyweight Division. I had trained naturally for, I want to say, 6 years. I did that show at 19, so 5 or 6 years, whatever it was, and I had a decision to make. I won my class, not the overall. It's a whole other story.
Yeah.
And then I sort of retired at the sport at 19. And the reason I retired was kind of a bunch of reasons. I fell in love with writing. I didn't want to go to the next level. Sometimes I think if you're let behind an Oz and you meet Oz, so to speak, it's not always what you think.
Exactly.
And I felt like I had accomplished what I had to.
Well, the thing with the anabolics, and I'm not against them, I'm not for them, it doesn't matter to me either way what you do. I mean, I've taken stuff, I haven't taken stuff. Now I don't just take testosterone because at my age it works for me.
Yes.
But I think with a lot of young guys that are taking all this stuff, I see it in the gym, all I see is puffy bodies and pimples. And the diet's way off. I mean, you've got to get in shape first and get really hard. Then if you're going to compete against somebody else who's taking it, well, you're going to have to go with what they do if you want to compete against them. Otherwise, it's not going to be the same. I had people write me and say, "I want to compete in the Mr. Olympia in 2 years." Well, take a look in the mirror first and see where you are. You might not ever get to that point. And the other thing about taking anything, when you get it off the street and you don't get it from a doctor, which is very hard to do, you don't even know what it is.
It's a dangerous world out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that the Winstrol injectable was Armorall. Heard this 2 years ago.
Oh, God.
And it looks like Armorall. And it hurts when you put it in, so I'm not taking that stuff.
I have a problem, and we agree on this, when people take too much and they rely on it as a crutch. I also have no problem with anabolics, you know, and for me they did in the past very favorable things because I believe in use and abuse.
Right.
Less is more.
Right.
Having said that, for peak physique, I was 100% natural, and I'm very proud to say that because it was a challenge to me. Yeah, you can get in shape with help, but can you do it clean?
It's a personal challenge because you want to be the best you can be without doing anything.
Yeah.
And see if you can maintain that. It's real difficult. If you've been on it before and you go off, you think you're losing everything, but you really don't. You lose some water. You're actually healthier.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I also have a problem with people that say if I took what they took, I'd be as good. No, you wouldn't, because genetics comes into play.
Big time.
We could take everything in the world, excuse me, that Barry Bonds supposedly took. Would we ever hit like that?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No. You think it, well, I have a theory about that. It doesn't make you hit any better. I hit a little bit stronger, but it's not going to be any straighter for sure.
It made a better baseball card. His arms were thicker.
Exactly. So your diet now is how? If you were to tell people how to train, well, first of all, everybody trains different, but their diet seems to be the biggest thing that they have trouble. Everybody tells me, oh, I just can't diet. I don't know how to eat. I don't eat all day. I eat once a day. I mean, it's got to figure in it somehow.
I think the first thing is to eliminate that word diet, because it has the word die in it,
yeah.
which is finite. So it's really lifestyle, and it's basically, you know, I got in extreme shape for peak physique. Do I look like that year round? No. Now, right now, I'm getting in shape for the book signing. You know, to look I need to look like the guy that wrote the book. Me.
Yeah.
Having said that, I believe in eating as close to the way God put food on the earth as possible.
Right.
Little processed. For me, the whole equation is maximal muscle, minimal fat. Anybody can get big and anybody can get skinny, but to do together is why we're in business.
Exactly. Exactly. Is there anything you'd like to add to the people who are watching out there? Where can they reach you?
I can be reached on Twitter at HLLPAC, PAC, Instagram HLLPAC, Hollis Liebman, Facebook. I'm on Amazon, and you know, I'm still training people, and I'm just basically looking to help people and get knowledge out there, you know, with my years of experience.
Do you have a website?
HollisWasHere.com.
Okay, we got to put that up for sure.
Yeah.
Hollis was here.
Hollis was here, implying that I helped people to get their physique. People thought it was a wash service or something. Like, they thought I was doing, you know, was wash here, they thought?
They know better now.
Yeah, they know.
Well, I'm very happy to have you on here, and I'd like to come down to your book signing. I might even bring a camera down and shoot some of it.
I would be honored.
That'd be kind of fun.
I would be honored.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, I said this earlier, but I will always be a bodybuilder at my heart. I love our sport. I'd love to see it progress and get bigger. I also like to thank my friend Chris Jericho for writing a foreword for my book. Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, sure.
Met Chris in in 05 at a gym, and he had this funny walk. He had this guy is walking in the gym, and I'm like, only one guy in the world walks like that.
He does have a walk.
Right?
Yeah.
He has that kind of cocky, and it was Chris Jericho. And me being me, I believe in life you have to try.
Yeah, sure.
So I went up to him, and the nicest guy ever. He not only wrote me a foreword, he called my brother on his birthday, 10 minutes on his dime to wish him happy birthday. Yeah. So it's nice when people make it in life and they remain humble.
Absolutely.
And whatever level I get to or ever achieve, I will always be humble and in love with our sport.
Yeah, so you know what? Treat it right. I've over the years I've had this show. We're almost up to 13 million viewers now. And in the beginning, you always get your haters and your YouTube comments and nasty stuff. But I haven't received any in quite a long time, because the content that we're giving you is to benefit you. We're doing it for free to help you. So you've been a lot more appreciative, and you fans out here write and thank me. Don't think I don't read every single one of them. I take them to my heart. I really do. It's the nicest thing you could do for me. I want to do the nicest thing I can for you and bring you people like Hollis to help you be better at what you are. So that being said, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll do more, and thanks for watching Rick's Corner, and stay tuned for the next one coming up soon.
Thank you.
It's rickdrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.